And I think in that sense too, Andrew, they use you, which I know you're upset. You have to be. They use you to play that song to be like, look who's with us. And you're right. I saw you. You walked right out. And even in the nightclub, you were kind of like, whatever. But I would be even more livid because coming from a guy that has a Jewish father, brings you in, plays the Hitler song, and then you're the only guy that's going to catch real flack for it.
Alright guys, so this is a kind of an update to my last video, which I hope is still up, hasn't been taken down, because it was about Andrew Tate and his brother and a whole bunch of other like right-wing influencers in a club and a van like singing Heil Hitler from Kanye's song or whatever, right? So this morning, I think maybe a day or two after, Andrew is on the PBD podcast, and they are addressing this whole issue. So we're gonna take a look. From what I can tell, they kind of went in on him a little bit, but let's see what's up. I like PBD. I like the panel, and I always love when them and Andrew get together. So let's see what's up.
Am I looking here? Okay, fantastic, folks. This was a last-minute announcement. But there was some extracurricular activities going on in Miami, some songs being played, some text messages, phones blowing up, and
I didn't hear what happened.
Yeah, so there was this group of guys that were hanging out playing this song in a city, Miami, where most of the clubs are owned by this community that the song was bashing.
Oh, I did not know that. That is wild. That's awkward.
That, you know, by Kanye West, and then everybody reacted. As a matter of fact, why don't we do this, Tate, to just kick it off?
Sure.
Good to have you back on here.
I'm glad to be back with the guys.
This looks like the cigar lounge from Madrid. Exactly. Back on here.
I'm glad to be back with...
Adam is gonna cook. Adam is gonna go in on him because, you know, Adam don't like anybody talking about Jews.
The guys. This looks like the cigar lounge from Madrid.
Exactly. Yes, it does.
It's not. Let's pick a city we're in right now. We're right now in... we're in Barcelona right now.
Nice.
Okay, Barcelona, Florida. Somewhere in Barcelona, Florida is where we are right now doing this podcast.
Big difference between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Vinny, right?
100%.
Okay, so why don't we do this though? On a serious note, so let's play this clip, Rob, and then Tate will just start off with this clip, what the news is saying, and we'll come
it's on the news?
It's all over.
You made the fucking news?
You made the news. Channel 7, Miami. So, Rob, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
People laughing and celebrating Heil Hitler and Adolf Hitler. I cannot believe we're even seeing this and witnessing Miami Beach.
A Miami Beach nightclub catching heat, accused of celebrating hate with a song about Hitler.
Absolute disgust.
Is the mayor of that persuasion? He looks like it. Miami mayor minor. Is he ish? Let's see if he is. Oh yeah, okay. He is Orthodox. Okay.
Disgusted, horrified.
City leaders reacting to videos making the rounds on social media featuring the Kanye West song with the lyrics Heil Hitler over and over again. The same men seen in the club, known as controversial influencers, are also in a video from a limo. In that one, they're singing, and one of them is performing a Nazi salute.
Have people in our city
Performing is right, because I said in my last video that it was super performative, and I still think so.
celebrating this. Animals.
This is obviously not welcome in Miami Beach. It should not be welcome anywhere in the world.
And by the way, I spoke to other club operators. They are not welcome in their club. How they got into this club, open arms, I want to know how.
The videos are from Saturday night. This one inside the club Vendôme at 743 Washington Avenue. The club releasing a statement on social media that reads in part, "We want to be unequivocally clear. Vendôme and our hospitality group do not condone antisemitism, hate speech, or prejudice of any kind." It goes on to state, "We are deeply disturbed by the harm caused by this incident and the circulation of this footage." The Post explains the business is looking into safe.
So it looks like they just got like a section and they played. Is it that they played the song in the club? Like, did the group of guys like Sneako and whoever, did they play the song in the club, like at their own section? Because I think people can do that. I mean, I don't go clubbing, but I think you can, when you have your own section, and it looked like they had their own section. When is it they requested the song or something, or what's? I'm trying to figure out if the club is acting like they had no idea that the song was played. So is that they're saying, well, we didn't play it. Okay, well, yeah, it was in your club, so who played the song? That's what I want to know.
Guards and procedures to make sure this doesn't happen again. As for the men in the video celebrating the song, the mayor has...
Can pause it at
And it's so interesting, too, because, you know, this is something I didn't say in my...
The Post explains the business is looking into safeguarding the song.
It looks like, I mean, just look at the flames and the, you know, it's so dramatic. These guys look, it looks like a convention of demons. And I'm not a religious guy. I'm not a superstitious guy like that. I'm not trying to say that they're demons or whatever. I'm just like, the theatrics here are kind of like, come on, guys. It's so dramatic. It's so dramatic.
The mayor has...
Can pause it at this time.
I barely even see me in any of this.
Yeah.
Firstly. But
Huh, interesting.
I want to be very careful.
Interesting. You barely even see you in any of this. Well, were you there or not? Because what does that matter? I'm trying to understand. Like, that's a weird distancing right from the jump. Interesting, Tate. You just immediately distance yourself. Like, I barely even see me. Yeah, but you were there. This is the point. This is the guys that you were hanging out with. You are there. You said you barely see me. Doesn't matter. If there was a murder being committed and the camera flashes and you get a shot of you and everybody's killing somebody, are you going to say, I barely even see me? No, you were there. It doesn't matter if you were barely seen on camera. This is not the issue is not how much camera time you had. The issue is your presence and your seeming endorsement in this song or whatever it is. That's the issue. Which, by the way, I don't think that Tate endorsed the song, and I'm not saying that he supported it or whatever. I'm just saying it's a kind of a weak sort of distancing move that he's using here. It's a little bit out of character, I think.
Careful here because I don't want to deflect too heavily. I don't want to be blaming other people, etc. A whole bunch of songs were played that night, none of which I requested. None. I walk into a nightclub and songs are played. Unfortunately, if anything happens anywhere near me, it gets tied to my name. If someone got shot in that club, they would have said, Andrew Tate's in a nightclub where this man got shot. I didn't shoot him. I didn't pull the trigger. I don't know who the fuck he is. I was there and the song was played.
Well, he knows how to defend himself, eh? That's very, you could tell he's been hanging around lawyers a lot lately.
The actual conversation I think that's interesting to have when it comes to this is the nature of the internet and the nature of influencing in general. Because I think we're living in a world now where only shock value seems to get anybody's attention for any significant period of time because everyone's dopamine receptors are completely fried. So all of these young influencers or anyone on the internet who's trying to make any name for themselves is trying...
You know, it's so funny that you said that young influencers. That was exactly my point in the last video. Is about how young these guys are. It's interesting that you point that out.
To be as controversial and shocking as possible as quickly as possible. And that's why the song was played, because it gets views. That's why. I didn't play it. I didn't ask them to play it. I didn't dance. I didn't sing. In fact, the only time you see me on there is me storming out of the bus saying this is ridiculous and leaving. But I know why it was played. It was played because of this. It was played because it gets traction in a world where everybody is bored of everything all of the time. And that's why these young people are encouraged constantly to try and do the most shocking thing possible. You see this not just with this song, you see this on all their streams. They're running people.
It's interesting because he says that he started out saying that he doesn't want to deflect too much, but everything here has been a deflection. Still a fair point, but a deflection nonetheless.
Pull over and doing retarded shit constantly.
And he's right, by the way. I do agree with him.
So I'm not here to make excuses for myself. I'm not here to say it wasn't me. I'm not here to, blame someone else. But it is kind of ridiculous. It does feel a bit unfair that I'm standing in a nightclub. A song comes on that I did not request. A song comes on that I do not dance to. I do not repeat the lyrics to. I just stand there. And then they want to attribute somehow the song playing to me and it all being my fault.
And that's fair enough. But I think the greater issue that people are having is your association with the people who are playing the song. I think that's what people have a problem with, right? It's I guess people are upset about. I mean, I'm not upset about it. Its song doesn't bother me, but from my reading of why it seems like people are having a problem, or this is so censorious, is the fact that it is the association that would have led to that. Like, you could have been anywhere else. I mean, you could have. I mean, and I think it's fine to hang out with these guys and stuff like that. And you're right. You don't. If indeed you didn't control what music is being played and you're not requesting that song. I mean, what are people expecting you to do? Run out of the club and go, "Oh my God!" This is like, no. You're just gonna stand there and just like, "All right, cool, let the song play out," or whatever, and just vibe it. Maybe you didn't even think about it in the moment, and I think that's fair enough. But I think the issue is the association that is even sort of giving rise to the need to play a song like that. You know,
That's a fair argument, but you know, to the average person that's watching it, you know, back in the days when I'm younger, I'm in a car with a guy who I get out of the military. It's December 23rd, 97. The guy's got a bunch of pot in the back of his trunk. Cops come out.
Yep.
And I'm in the army, and my guy's calling me, telling me, hey, you got to figure something out. You can't be involved in something like this.
Yep.
So
yeah, that reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses. It's Proverbs 13:20, which is, I think it's Proverbs 13:20, which is Proverbs 30. Y'all, I'm about to preach. Okay, so pass around the collection plate. It's about walk with the wise and become wise. Yeah, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what it is. It's about the companionship. That's something that you would say like to your son or something. That is like, yo, you can't be around those guys. You need to take responsibility for the people that you're around, because the people that you're around could get you in trouble unintentionally. And it's like, yeah, well, you didn't tell them to do that. Yeah, but you're there with them though, so you know. Is it unfair? Maybe a little bit, but it is within a man's it is within a man's like duty to take responsibility for his associations as well and the people that he's around.
Guilty by association, it's the first thing they're going to say. You hung out with these guys. When I watched the video, Andrew, with you and them,
Andrew looks pissed.
Tristan looks extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay? And the way you were smiling, because
I know, Andrew looked more uncomfortable to me.
I saw a lot of, everyone's texting me. You know, you and I communicate, we have conversations together. You looked extremely uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
You're smiling, but you're not you know already what's going to happen. It was almost a look where I said, Tate knows what's about to happen next.
Yeah, the shock value really isn't worth it to me. I mean, I've said some shocking things, and people will believe my brand is built on shock value, but I think they're at least shocking opinions. I like to think that I'm sitting there saying, this is my opinion. You may find it shocking, but this is what I truly believe. These are my worldviews, and perhaps there's a lot of people who agree with me, disagree with me, but to just shock and offend purely for the purpose of shocking and offending, I think that that's something that has plagued the internet for a while, but it's getting worse and worse. And
yeah, it's reckless. I kind of agree with it. I kind of agree. I get where they're coming from. And probably Myron, from what I watch Myron a lot, and Myron might probably defend it and say that it's all about freedom of speech, and the whole idea is defending freedom of speech. Oh yeah, but there's a lot of other things that you could do that would successfully defend freedom of speech, right? And won't lose the message by sort of get over shocking people. So I kind of yeah.
You notice it across the entire streaming world because people are struggling to get any kind of views or shake people out of apathy. And when I talk to anybody below 25 who's doing anything on the internet, their only intention is to be as shocking and therefore as offensive as possible. That's what they're sitting there thinking.
And performative. It's not real. That's the thing. That's what's annoying to me. Like, I don't mind being shocked, and I don't mind hearing something that's shocking. It's just it's not even real what you're doing. You're not even really. You haven't really bought into this. You're just performing it because of the because people are gonna clutch their pearls, but you're not gonna really achieve anything, or you don't even really know what you're achieving. It's just like a bunch of little boys playing around.
How do I get everybody to panic within 3 seconds? Otherwise, they're going to scroll past me, and that's what people are doing. That's the world we live in.
Why hang out with them?
Well, I haven't seen them in a long time. It's the first time I met two of them. It's the first time I met Clav and Nick. I spoke to them online, but it's the first time I ever met them. I hadn't seen Sneako in a while.
You and Nick have never met each other?
Never met.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Never met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the Braden guy.
Interesting. Hee. Very interesting. Because I don't want to be too self-reflective here, but it makes me think of my takeaway in the last video was about how I think that moment was kind of like a handover from Tate to Nick Fuentes, and it's interesting that was their first time meeting.
Clav, whatever his name is, he's new.
First time I ever met them.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, they were nice guys when I met them. You know, it's the first time I've spoken to them. I sat down with them, and I don't think they even put the song on. I can't. I have to guess. I think Sneako may have put the song on, who I'd met many times before. But it was a long night. It was 6 or 7 hours in which, for 2 minutes of it, someone got a phone and put a song on. It wasn't me. And now it's all over the news. So I just think that the main reason this is being done is because shock value is what people are optimizing for with their content primarily. And then we can have another conversation entirely about why anti-Semitism is on the rise in the first place, because I have a theory about that also. And I think that the main reason anti-Semitism is on the rise across America, because there's no doubt about it that it is because young men are being told that Jews control the system, and young men are being screwed by the system. It doesn't mean it's true. I'm not going to sit here and say that Jews completely and utterly control the system. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you tell young men that, and they believe that, even if it's not true, and they're getting screwed by the system, that's why people are anti-Semitic. There was no anti-Semitism when a man could afford a house, and there was no anti-Semitism when a man could get a wife. And there's no anti-Semitism when he looked around and felt part of his community. But people are so disenfranchised now with the places they're living in and the society they're forced to live within, and they feel so disconnected from everything. They've become revolutionary. Young men of the world are revolutionary. They're looking for somebody to blame. They're told it's the Jews, so that's why they're being anti-Semitic. That's the truth about what is happening.
And it's funny though, Andrew, like, what's Nicholas Sneak? He's a grown man. I'm going to call him his real name. He's Filipino, Haitian, and his father is of Jewish descent. So on top of that, it doesn't make any sense. He's the Jew. So you're going to go to a town that's predominantly a lot of Jewish-owned businesses. You're technically Jewish too. You're playing that song, and then when you get in trouble for it, you're screaming anti-Semitism, and it's all the Jews run everything, and it's ridiculous. And I think in that sense too, Andrew, they use you, which I know you're upset. You have to be. They use you to play that song to be like, look who's with us. And you're right. I saw you. You walked right out, and even in the nightclub, you were kind of like whatever. But I would be even more livid because coming from a guy that has a Jewish father, brings you in, plays the Hitler song, and then you're the only guy that's going to catch real flack for it.
Yeah, I think it was, so if I'm going to be optimistic, it was short-sighted by them. If I'm going to be pessimistic, it was certainly very, I mean, I wouldn't say they set me up, but they should have known that, this is going to cause a whole bunch of flack for me, specifically.
In Miami.
In Miami.
Nah, I don't think. Well, maybe, but I think it's more. I think it's more. I mean, Myron. I think Myron was probably the most excited about that song. Myron, Sneako was pretty into it for sure, and it was probably maybe Sneako's idea because of his friendship with Ye, but I think Myron was most excited about that song, and I think a lot of it was really about Nick Fuentes. I think it was because they all of them have Nick Fuentes now. You realize like since the last few big flare-ups with the Nick Fuentes, people have sort of realized, okay, this guy is really something. Like he's the next guy, and especially since Charlie Kirk got killed. It's like, okay, Nick Fuentes is sort of the natural next in that lineage, and I've noticed more people have drawn themselves towards him. More different podcasters have drawn themselves towards Nick, and I think last night this night was probably a kind of a climax moment of that, where all of these guys came together and they were like, oh my God, look, we have Nick. I mean, if you look at some of the vlog videos of their time together during that weekend or whenever they were hanging out, you kind of see a lot of them sort of like, they're sort of jostling around with Nick. They're kind of like, oh, are you gonna lose your, oh, we have a girl for you, They kind of know that Nick isn't into girls like that. they're sort of. It looks like they're so glad to have Nick. It looks like Nick is the guest of honor, and I think this song was really about Nick, and I think they didn't really care too much about Andrew. If I'm honest.
Of course, but if I'm totally honest with you, I don't think that any of them are deeply anti-Semitic genuinely, and I don't think that any of them really thought it through. Honestly, I think they're just kids. I think they're just kids. It gets a reaction. They think they're funny. They're on the internet. They need a reaction. They want likes, and they did some fucking dumb shit. That's what I think it is. I think they're just literally retarded.
How old is
And they were trying to impress Nick.
Nicholas? If you don't, how old? Cause I know.
I don't know. They're all young. They're all in their young 20s or something.
I would love to agree with you, brother, but they're not all kids. By the way, nobody
Myron's not a kid.
online or in the Jewish community defends you more online or behind the scenes than me.
I appreciate that, sir.
So-
I appreciate that.
You know I had dinner with Tristan and
Of course.
Justin Wall the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
I got the call. It's Sunday. You ruined my day. At the very least, you ruined my Sunday
Bro,
with my nephew.
I woke up. I was like, what
I
the
feel
fuck?
you. And I get a call from not one person, not two, everybody.
Yep.
Your brother, you're texting me, Justin Waller, the club owners, the DJ, everyone, the mayor.
The bathroom attendant.
Like, the bathroom attendant, I tip him good, he called me.
Who's Cuban? But go ahead.
But they're not all kids. We know Myron's almost 40.
Yeah.
You're almost 40.
Yeah.
Tristan's 35.
Yeah.
This ain't kid stuff. So
Myron's almost 40, really? I thought Myron was late 20s. How old is he? Y'all, excuse my slow internet. He's 35. Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, almost 40, yeah. 35 though. I really thought he was late. I thought he was like maybe, I don't know what I thought. I guess that's, wow. Why was I thinking Myron was like 29 or something like that? That's weird. He's 35? Myron is a whole grown, what we would say, grit-on man. Myron is a big hardback grit-on man.
what I think is I actually believe you. You think I'm going to wait for 5 years of working with you, friendship with you, to throw you under the bus last minute? That's not how we roll. But I think Sneako played the song.
Yeah.
I think Tristan explicitly told me that Sneako played the song. I think when you sort of diffuse the situation, they're kids being kids. Myron, who, you know how much time we've spent with Myron.
Yep.
That ain't no kid stuff.
Well, Myron's not a kid, and he's a really good friend of mine.
I agree.
And
I like
Myron's not a
Myron,
kid,
too.
you're right. I don't know if Sneako played the song, Sneako played the song. I'm telling you from my perspective, and I don't want to make it something...
But how do you feel about that? Because let me ask you a specific question.
Sure.
Do you know
I told
how
you,
much
yeah,
time
Myron was most excited about it. My theory about Myron, you know, is that, and again, I like him, but I think Myron sort of plays the kind of all-purpose plug. He's the kind of he's that universal charger. So he's the one who's gonna be with whoever is the hottest at the moment. And I'm not trying to say that like he's like a clout chaser, but he's sort of interpolar. So he's not as polarizing as Andrew. He's never been as polarizing as Andrew, but he's sort of wafting in that area. And here comes Nick, just as polarizing as Andrew, and maybe even more so now. And yet Myron still has never gotten to be that polarizing, but he's still in between. He's kind of just that interpolar type of go-between. So I think it's interesting that he was, to me, the most excited about this song and was doing all the Heils and stuff, because I think I think maybe Myron probably has the most to gain from this entire thing, because he's probably the one whose audience may boost the most. Maybe he probably is gonna gain the most value just from this night, because he's gonna benefit from. I mean, Nick isn't necessarily gonna get any more viewers from this. I don't think Andrew's gonna get necessarily a greater audience specifically from this. but because neither one of those two guys are that much affected by the other's presence. But I think Myron is doubly boosted by both Nick and Andrew's sort of familiarity and presence. So maybe that's why he was, to me, the most excited about this.
Spent with your brother and Justin Waller at 9 o'clock on Sunday. I left at 3 in the morning. Serious conversations, laughs. Of course, we're having Blue Label.
Yeah.
And Tristan, in my perspective, is like, dude, I'm done with these people. That's my perspective. I'll let him speak for himself. But he told me a story about your grandfather.
Yep.
Adam is a loose lip, you know. Adam, you can't really tell Adam too many secrets, and I've come to notice that, you know. I think maybe when Pat says loose lips sink ships, I think he's sort of like saying it to Adam, like, yo, shut your mouth, you talk too much.
Served in World War II, yes?
I talk
Yes.
too much too.
The American.
Yep.
What would your grandfather say about that? A neo-Nazi symbol who fought the Nazis.
Yeah, I understand. And
This was kind of my point as well, which is like, I don't mind the fact that I don't mind the song being offensive. My own thing is just, it just isn't. It doesn't align with the whole brand. Isn't the brand is all about America? Americans don't like Nazis, so why are you guys doing that? Like, it's kind of like push the boundaries with something that is of America, that is equally shocking and equally pearl clutching. I mean, again, I'm not saying don't offend people. Sure, offend people, but I think they're also offending themselves. You know, I think that point about like what would your grandfather who fought in the war, like what would he think? Like, bro, come on, not with those lyrics. Find something else.
we have to be very, very careful. I understand exactly what you're saying. I agree that is offensive to many people. I totally understand it. And I'm not here to get myself.
It's offensive to Americans.
Well, yes.
Forget about just
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah.
American lives died fighting Nazis.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
Your grandfather's friends died fighting Nazis. That, to me, Jews or not Jews,
Adam is cooking.
Americans went to war against Nazis. This
You're
is
right.
an American thing. I wear an American flag pin, not an Israeli flag pin,
Mark.
not a global flag pin, certainly not an LGBT flag, American flag pin.
Yep.
My grandfather fought in World War II.
Yep.
So to me, this is anti-American.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with Myron. I used to be cool with
My
Myron.
point too. That's
But
what I'm
how am I
saying.
going to hang out with that? How are you going to hang out with that?
I mean,
I've known Myron for a very long time.
maybe it's not that serious, but yeah, it is anti-American, I think.
He's been a great friend of mine. And
Adam is cooking today.
I have to make this very clear to the world. I have a whole bunch of friends who do a whole bunch of shit that perhaps I would not do myself, or I may not 100% agree with. But that doesn't mean they're not my friends, and I don't speak to them. I have to be honest here, guys. I'm really not trying to do some big apology tour. And the reason for that is because I really didn't do anything wrong. So I want to make this clear. I understand why some people were
Yeah, I
offended.
agree.
I understand they want to attach it to my name. I understand that it gets clicks in the media if you say Andrew Tate did X, Y, Z. I got on a bus. Full-grown men made decisions while I sat on my phone. I then got off the bus and stood in a nightclub while other people played songs while I sat on my phone. If they want to crucify me for that, that's up to them. Myron made the Nazi salute because he thought it was funny. That's Myron to come here and defend.
Of course.
It's not for me to sit here and come here and defend. Myron is someone I know and I respect and I like. Even if he did something that offended me, even if I found that offensive, I would still say, okay, well, I like Myron. I have a whole bunch of friends who do a whole bunch of things that I don't like. I have black friends, white friends. I have every single type of friend you can have. We have the most racist group chat in the world. This is the world I live in, right? And I think that the reason the anti-Semitism issue is so sensitive is, one, because of the prevalence, especially online. And
So, Andrew, I agree with you in the sense that you didn't necessarily do anything wrong, because again, you didn't know that song was going to be played or whatever, and you were kind of just out hanging out, and they chose to do this. So maybe they kind of ambushed you. Had they said to you before, hey, let's go to the club and let's do a bunch of Nazi salutes to this song, I trust you probably would have steered them clear of that, or let them go on their own and found something else to do. So I grant you that. But I think what it is it's not, it's like, I was talking to a friend about this the other day, the difference between blame and responsibility. That it's one thing to blame someone for something, right? So you may or may not be to blame for something. Like, you're the victim of a crime. You're not to blame. Like, if somebody breaks into your house, or you go walking down a dark alley and you get jumped, mugged, whatever, you're not to blame because you're the victim. You're not to blame. The person who is to blame is the perpetrator of the act. But the responsibility is still yours to make sure that your physical body is placed in a responsible way as you move through time. So are you in a secure location? Is this a place? Are these people trustworthy? Is this, so you didn't do anything wrong, I think. I don't think you did anything wrong. I don't think you're to blame for anything, but I think it's just, it's like that proverb. The companion of fools will suffer harm, and you're suffering harm because you are the companion of fools. And it's funny about that verse, because the verse doesn't say that the fools will suffer the harm. It says the companion of the fools will suffer the harm, not the fools. So this is just what it is, and this is what it is to be a man as well, I think.
I'm not going to lie, I see it everywhere myself. I'm not even Jewish. It must be scary to see it absolutely everywhere online. The reason for that, I've just given you my theory as to why. That's the first reason. Second thing, of course, was World War II, and a lot of people died in the name of defending Jews. Of course, I understand that completely. But then thirdly, and I'd like to have an actual open and honest conversation about this. Don't we think, and I actually want your opinions, the fact that a song came on and the reaction has been so fierce and so not aggressive, but it's so
interesting. Andrew is nervous, or he's uncomfortable. I've never seen him he's never had a tick like that, or I've never seen him exhibit a tick like that. He's like snapping the lighter, or he's doing something weird with some sound he's
opinions.
making. Look at that.
The fact that a song came on and the reaction had open and honest conversation about this. But then when a lot of people died in the name of defending Jews, of course, I understand that completely. But then thirdly, and I'd like to have an actual open and honest conversation about this.
He's not snapping anything.
Don't we think, and I actually want your opinions,
somebody else has
the fact that a song came on and the reaction has been so fierce and so
yeah, so he's not the one snapping the lighter, but he is grooming himself. He is sort of soothing himself, rather. There's a self-soothing thing here. Interesting. I've not seen him do this much before.
Aggressive, but it's so clear that songs like this can't be played without meeting genuine power in the world. Don't you think, to somebody who is completely detached from this situation, somebody at home who has nothing to do with this situation, watches it and sits and goes, see, they are in charge of everything? I'm asking.
This is the perfect, by the way, I'm so grateful we're having this conversation, because the world needs to see this.
Yeah.
If this was played in any other city, Tate, you would not see this reaction.
Got it.
Can I explain something?
Sure.
Miami Beach, they don't play this game, dog.
Well,
you're not gonna Mamdani.
I did not know this about Miami at all. Apparently Miami is full of Jewish people. I didn't know that.
Miami.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
I thought Miami was full of Cubans and like Caribbean people.
Wait, Stephen Miner, the mayor, Joe Magazine, David Suarez. You have a Jew and an Italian and a Cuban walk into a nightclub and they say, we don't play this game, homie. We see what's going on in the world, and every Jew, every capitalist, every billionaire leaving California, leaving New York, they're like, where can we go? You know how Governor DeSantis said, Florida's where woke goes to die.
Good friend of mine.
Your boy. Florida is where woke goes to die. Well, you know what? Miami is where racism goes to die. And by the way, I'm an equal opportunity employer when it comes to racism.
Yep.
Stand-up comedian, former stand-up comedian. Yep. One day PBD is going to get his shot. We know about that. And I would say this. It's not racist if you make fun of everybody. Anybody can get it.
So I'm clear.
We got a black guy there. We got an Italian guy there.
So I'm clear.
We got a gay guy there. I don't know. Nick Fuentes, gay Mex, whatever it is. But it's only bad when you single out one group.
Yeah, of course.
So
it's interesting. Adam is the one who's cheering this sort of tribunal. Very, very interesting. It's rare that PBD allows Adam to go on. Like usually PBD will sort of cut off Adam by now, but he's really letting him cook. He's letting him go. I mean, I guess fair enough. This is sort of his thing. So he's and he does. Adam is. I mean, usually Adam is a little bit sort of long-winded and kind of repetitive and sort of no. But he's cooking today.
So that's the challenge that you're gonna happen. So all these guys that basically own the clubs, run the city. It's not just Jews. Cubans, Venezuelans, Jamaicans, Haitians.
Yeah.
It's one big melting pot, Miami. And the universal truth in Miami is don't bring that BS here. I'll explain why, and then I want to hear your perspective, obviously.
Interesting.
Jews that fled anti-Semitism came to Miami. Half of South America, looking in the room here, fled communism, socialism, comes to Miami. Haitians flee corruption, come to Miami. Italians flee fascism, come to Miami. The reason that Miami is that city is because they all know what the rest of the world looks like.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting this reaction. Any other city, you're not going to get.
I mean, if that's true, that's very interesting.
Okay.
PBD is.
I think you've lived in a bubble where you think Miami's the only place. Thank God you lived in Addison for a year and a couple other places. I think this is bigger than that to me. And by the way, I'd like to go to the next topic. Let's do a couple other things on this, and let's move on to the next few topics to get into. I think, Tate, for me, it's a different conversation for you, because every year when a new year starts, it's about how am I recreating myself for the next level. You know, when I was in my 20s,
Pat's about to mentor him now. I could tell. This is the father voice coming in now with a very patient, very it's like Adam is the older brother, but he's still subordinate to Pat, and he's gonna cook him and sort of no, you shouldn't have that. And now Pat's gonna come in with this fatherly energy and he's gonna go, listen, son. When I was your age. Let me hear it, Pat.
Buddy promoted a club called Club Jerk in...
By the way, I love that about Pat.
In Melrose, and then we used to go to Pimps and Hoes, and we used to go to... No, literally, I don't know if you ever heard of Pimps and Hoes.
It's a great name.
We used to go... It was literally called Pimps and Hoes in Vegas. I don't know if you want to pull it up or not.
Human trafficking.
They was... Yeah. No, they would put the biggest clubs with 20,000 people show up. And LA had a nightclub called Club Naked. You know, you had all these different places to go to. And friends that you had that would do different things. And then one day I'm like, I got to recreate myself. And I'm going to the next level.
I totally understand your point.
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes says a lot of things I agree with. I don't agree with everything he says. I've seen clips of him say things, and I found them very funny. I had never met him before. Clav's blown up online. He's doing things. I've seen some clips. I'd never met him before. I got to Miami for the first time in a long time. They said, guys, let's meet up.
It's interesting because between Nick and Clav, the two, both of them together kind of make an Andrew Tate. Clav with the looks and Nick with the views and the voice. Together is like, that's the new Tate legacy.
We met up. Sneako came along. We went out. They played a song. For me, I understand what you're saying. Like, I need to reinvent myself, and I have all these charges.
If you choose to, you don't have to.
Of course, but I have all these charges, and I have the potential to have a brand new image, and I'm one of the best, most well-known people on the planet. If I meet somebody for the first time, or I meet people and hang out with them for 6 or 7 hours, and the entire thing is filmed, and 30 seconds blows up, I understand, and I'm really not trying to just pass blame, and I'm not trying to make excuses. But truthfully,
stop saying that you're trying not to do the thing that you're about to do, right? Like this is a very typical, I guess, conversational tick, right? Where people you always say that you're not doing the thing that you're about to do or you're in the middle of doing, and I'm like, Tate, you normally are a little bit more together than this, but he is kind of being in a way piled upon slightly. He might feel a little bit spotlighted here.
I don't see what I should have done differently besides say, oh, I've never met you before, you haven't been vetted, I'm never going to meet anybody ever. Or sit in a car and say, sorry guys, because I'm in this car, we must cut off the Bluetooth. Let me take everybody's phone from them. Like, it is what it is. I understand how these things get attached to my name. It's very inconvenient for me. I have Jewish business partners. I have tech teams in Israel. I have things going on, and I get a mess from this crap too. I can argue that I was set up. I can argue that Sneako wasn't thinking. I can argue that they were just trying to chase clicks. I could argue it was malicious or not malicious. But truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, truthfully, I'm not here to beg sorry from anybody. I was in a van, and I was in a club. That club also played songs about beating the shit out of women and shooting fucking black people. I didn't put any of the songs on. I'm not the DJ. And I think actually, truthfully, and we have to analyze this from an outside perspective, I'm not saying this as me. I'm saying this from a complete outsider. Everybody understands the scenario I just explained. Everybody's been in a car with people they don't know when someone else has the Bluetooth. Everybody has. So everybody can sit and say, well, if he's getting such a hard time over this, obviously some of the conspiracy theories must be true. Like, what did I do here? If the Jewish community want to come to me and say, Andrew, we're going to drive you out of Miami or put a bullet in your head, I'll say, well, then do it, because I just sat in a car. I'm really not going to sit here and beg sorry for sitting in a car.
Damn, Tate, you're on the defensive. You're really on the defensive here. It's kind of uncomfortable to watch. Like, you're my guy and everything, but I don't like seeing this. He's kind of like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I think it's not. You couldn't have done anything, right? It's just what it is. I think it's simply just a moment. And to give to your credit, like you are. I think this is what Tate is trying to say, which is that one, there's not anything that he could have done about it in the moment, and no, I think maybe what he hasn't said yet is that no, it's like a sort of a turning point. It's probably what Pat's trying to steer him towards, which is that it's probably a turning point. It's one of those moments. It is one of those moments for him that most people would have, like in their early 20s, when they realize they're in the back of the car with some idiots, and you're like, oh shit, I can't hang out with these guys anymore. Yeah, I like them, but like these guys are on some bullshit, you know? And I think that's all it is. It's, again, you're already in the car, so nobody's saying that you should have done anything. It's just whether or not you realize that this is now a signal. This is a signal to say, hey, let's make a little bit of a shift. Let's make a turn here.
I sat in a car. And perhaps, yes, I should be more careful with the company I keep. Correct. I'd never met half of these people ever before. They're some of the most famous people in the world. If you go and meet,
you only didn't meet two of them. That's mostly your crew. Come on, don't distance yourself like that.
Some of the most well-known people on the planet, and one of them sniffs coke. Is it your fault? Mm-hmm. Are you going to sit and say, I met an actor, he's really famous, he's one of the biggest guys in the world, and he got photographed sniffing coke, and because you're relevant, they say, Patrick Bet-David caught up in drug scandal. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Grab the men by their throat when they grab a phone to put on a Bluetooth?
Not hang out with them.
I totally understand some people are offended by it. I get it. And perhaps maybe I'm just numb. Perhaps I've been through so much shit in my life that my brain's just numb. Perhaps. But if you were to put on a song, any song, saying
you're not numb. Because if you were numb, you wouldn't have been able to analyze it with such clarity. You just made a mistake. That's all. I think I don't think it's that big of a deal. You understand? To be honest, I think they're roasting him a little bit too much. Frankly, it's like, yeah, you made him. It was a stupid night. It was you started having fun. What happens when a bunch of, what's the likelihood of when a bunch of dudes get together, right? A bunch of bros, and they all have money, and they all have fame, and they're all good looking, and they're all powerful, and they're all what's gonna happen when all of them are together for more than a couple of hours? A bunch of dumb shit is gonna occur, because that's what men and boys have always done. That's part of what it is. So it was just a stupid night, and going forward, you're probably just gonna be a little bit more careful and a bit more mindful, and maybe shift the balance of who you hang out with and stuff like that. That's all it is. It's not that serious. It's not that serious, guys.
Hate half black loudmouths. I wouldn't give a fuck.
I'd put you on the cover.
But that's the truth. So I'm sorry to anybody who is offended. If I had played the song myself.
Wow, that's wild. I was not expecting Tate to say I'm sorry. It's interesting because people always call Tate a narcissist, but I mean, that's interesting. Narcissists don't typically apologize. So that's interesting.
And danced around to it. Sure. I was in a car.
Can I?
That's my answer.
Can I, dude? I don't want an apology. Nobody. I don't even think you should.
I don't think this is a no.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a podcast to bring you on to apologize.
Not at all.
And by the way, he calls me. You and I are talking. I checked on. I didn't even know you're coming in town.
That's awkward. The man just offered his apology, and then you're like, "Oh, we don't want an apology." Like, just gracefully accept whatever. Like, that's awkward.
When I message, I'm like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm just," because I was messaging the other.
Yeah.
There's a couple places we communicate with. One of them,
Where's
you didn't
Tom?
respond back. I said, "Is he good?" So then I.
You see, Tom is different. You know, Tom is like, I'm too old for this. Tom is too old for this. Tom is like, I'm not finna sit around with y'all in a room and inhale a bunch of cigarette smoke for a bunch of hours while this guy is cursing and calling women dumb whores or whatever. You know, Tom is like, I'm out.
Message
Big up
Matt.
Tom.
Yeah.
And then I messaged back. It's like, no, it's this one. And so I messaged it, checking to see how you're doing. And you're like, hey, I'm in town.
Yeah.
You're in town. I'm in town. And then obviously our guys are telling me this. No, for me, I look at everybody as a product of what is next for them. What is the next thing they need to do? What is the next thing they ought to consider doing as a iOS, 14.0 for Tate? What is that for Tate? What is Tate 15.0? And you look at a lot of people in the marketplace that way.
Totally understand.
So I think about it from that standpoint.
This hurts political ambitions for very little gain. Totally understand. It's just whether I could have stopped this or seen this coming. That's the question. I'm not glad this happened. Yeah. The question is, could I have stopped it? Well, no, because I didn't even know they were doing it. What I could do is when they put it on the car is leave the car.
I think you could have stopped it. I think you could have stopped it.
How?
I think you could easily stopped it.
How?
First of all,
play the clip of when it comes on the car and I leave the car. What else?
Wow, this is an interesting dynamic here. Tate is like the father is trying to explain to his son, and his son is like, "What are you talking about? I'm not." It's like there's a stubborn kind of push and pull here. Very interesting. I want to hear how.
Let me tell you what I'll tell you what I would do.
Tell me.
For instance, you guys go out. Do you think if you invite me, I'm coming out?
If I invite you, will you come out?
Do you think if you guys go to a nightclub...
You're saying you got stopped it by not being there in the first place.
And the two of you guys invite me, am I coming out?
You, probably not.
Why would I not come out?
Because I guess you don't enjoy going to nightclubs.
But no, why do you think I wouldn't come out? If you invite me to dinner and we're just hanging out, I stayed at your place in Romania till I don't know what time we were there having a conversation.
Oh.
It was incredible conversation, right?
Of course nightclubs are absolute bullshit.
But think about this for a second. So if you were to invite me...
Yeah.
To go to a certain places, in your mind, you'd probably say, there's no way Pat's going to come out to this, but let's go to dinner with him. Sure. No problem. So I control where I go to, and I determine my standards of what to do. If he says to me, Pat, let's go out, I'm going to bring...
Pat's trying to tell Tate that you need to set a standard for where you're seen, what you do, who you're around, what types of events you're at and stuff like that. And I think that's really sensible. That's great. It's amazing because Tate is the most, is probably, in terms of influence, the most influential person sitting at that table, but still he needs the counsel of an older, wiser Pat, who's like, listen, bro, this is not worth all the trouble. Take it from an old head. There comes a time when you do need to put a fence and go, listen, my friends, I'm going to see y'all on the other side, but y'all, I hope you guys have a great night out. Big up yourself. Because, the funny thing too is that, Tate, and it's interesting. I mean, this is information. This is information that I think Andrew should have had for years ago. And I'll tell you why. It's because the thing that got Andrew in so much trouble in the first place is about association and company. It's about the fact that he was with the reason they were able to find a vulnerability is because he had some party and he had a whole bunch of people over at his house, and girls that he didn't even know, and one of the girls boyfriend called her and she lied and said, oh, I can't leave where I'm at, and boyfriend is like, oh, she's being held, and and all sorts of craziness, right? And it's like, again, you know, the companion of fools will suffer harm. You don't even know that girl, and simply because she was in your house, you know you're in this huge mess and all this money and all this problem and all this stuff simply because of some girl that you don't even know. Like, come on, there comes a point. Like, it would have been better if nobody's saying you can't have friends over and stuff, but people that you know, like there's ways that you can begin taking responsibility. Yes, if you invited, let's say, your best friends over to your place and one of them did something crazy, sure, you can't predict that, but at least you took some reasonable steps to lower the likelihood of somebody within your group or your association popping off and it coming back on you. So this is really, really good advice from Pat, I think, and something Andrew should have heard and taken to heart many years ago.
10 girls at. Yeah, he's not even going to invite me because he knows I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
So you're going to invite me for what? By the way, if I'm going to places that I have my kids with me and I'm doing certain things with family, I'm not inviting this guy out. Because he may come out and, you know, say certain things. I got a couple boys, I'm trying to raise them in a certain way. I may be like, nah, you're going to cause a little too much mayhem. And I have...
Oh, that has to hurt a little bit for Adam. That's a little bit... But Pat has a way of sending messages, you know, on the podcast. I've noticed Pat will say something indirectly, but make sure that you get the message, and it'll sting. And I can see Pat doing this. Pat is like raising his sons right now. These are his like first generation of sons.
certain standards. To me, I watch all these guys, and here's what I like. I had Nick Fuentes on the podcast. I cannot believe you did this. I had Netanyahu. I was the only podcast that we had Netanyahu and Nick Fuentes on within 30 days.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, and by the way, when we had Nick on, Shapiro canceled.
Yeah.
Literally a week later, he canceled. He was supposed to be on the podcast 2 weeks later. And we knew when this was going to happen. I told the team. The only thing for me is I get to choose the standards of where I go out to. Like here, guess what? This is our club. There is no phones here. I don't like phones here. We talked about it this morning. Some people are here to watch this. There are no phones. It's my standard. So that's the part when I watch you. Like yesterday, I'm at the Miami game with
he's doing some dumb shit with everything's on his phone. Everything that happens, people just look so. I hate it so much. Every single if a glass falls off the table, everything people just grab up. They need to get you need to broadcast every single thing that happens. There's nothing that can happen in the world that is not on camera. It's everybody got their phones up. Oh my God. It's really sickening. I'll do the same thing, Pat. No phones.
We call it Indiana. What a freaking game it was. You know, I take Dylan out.
I'm dealing with some PTSD.
But let me tell you why. You ready? Let me tell you why. And I'm going to paint a picture for you.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's going to make sense to him. They're singing the national anthem. And then all of a sudden, they cut out to Trump. The place loses their mind, is what it does. Okay? And then comes back out. And then 20 minutes later, they show a video with Obama. The entire place boos. I don't know if you heard.
Stop it.
Oh, it was the worst booze I saw in my life when Obama came up. They're going to play this somewhere, okay? But then there was one part where they showed Trump on the big screen, and guess who's sitting right next to him? Dana White. And Dana goes like this. He's got a Miami Hurricanes shirt on. You belong in that room.
Yeah.
Okay? That's where you belong. To me, when I watch you with the way you communicate, it's going this way. You know, that's the part. And I watch these guys. I was one of them. Even when I had Nick on, I'm like, listen, he was 18 years old when he said some of this stuff. You got to be held accountable for it, but we have to give a chance for people to recreate themselves. It comes to us. It comes to what, Tate's decision is what to do next. And I know, I'm not here to say what you said about Israel, all this other stuff, because you did it.
I totally understand the point you're making. Totally. Myron's an amazing friend of mine. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he says and does, but he's an amazing friend of mine. He's rode for me when I got in a lot of trouble. I've known him for a very long time. The other two I had never met before.
Tate, you're relitigating yourself. At this point, I would say you're right, Pat. Totally right. Yeah, the way you put that, that's really, really true. Yeah. I would immediately just because that's now a signal to move on. This is you're inviting them to further roast you, which I think they're trying not to, but this is a roast. They're ringing you out here on camera between Adam and Pat. Vinny hasn't said anything yet, really, but between Adam and Pat, they're kind of ringing you out here, and I think you need to just go, yeah, you're right. I think you need to just say, yeah, it's true. Damn, yeah, it's true. Last night I didn't think about what I was doing, and obviously I need to think more carefully going forward. And it's true, I would love to kick it with Trump and Dana White. That would be really cool. And then you can move on to something else. But yeah, Tate, stop defending yourself, man.
Nick, I believe, had never been to a club before.
Yeah.
If you watch the entire stream, it's a long conversation about me saying, I don't want to go to a club. But Nick's never been to a club before. It's Nick's first ever...
literally never been to a club.
Nick's first ever time. It's Nick's first ever time in a club. You have to come.
That's true.
I saw it in his face.
So I was like, I don't want to come.
Yeah, okay, but...
And then I ended up going.
Yeah, but Andrew, come on, no. Okay, so what would you say if and I listen to a lot of Andrew Tate, right? So I know that this is how I know, like, this is a deviation from his baseline. Because what would you say to somebody who if you were talking to some younger man, right, and you were on one of your rants, which you go on often, right, and you're like, young man, you need to whatever, you don't have any money, you need to work, get out there and do whatever, don't spend all your money in the club, and don't, like, when you're on that rant, right, had one of those youngsters said to you, yeah, but it was Nick's first time, and I didn't want to go, and I didn't want to go to the club, but like, you said, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You need to be corrected. You can't correct your correction. You're being corrected by Adam and Pat here, and yeah, you need the correction. So just accept the correction like a man, dread, and don't deflect it anymore. Just say, yeah, you're right.
And clearly it wasn't worth it. But here I am.
Yeah,
so,
good.
It's an unfortunate circumstance. I truthfully hope everybody who's offended by it can move past it and understand that no one's out here trying to round anyone up and shoot them in the head. I believe, if you ask me why, I think that there's some streamers who are so obsessed with getting clicks that they don't think ahead. And that's why they did it, and that's why I left.
So,
yeah, you also kind of threw them under the bus a little bit here, but yeah, you're right. But still, just take the buff and move on.
With Pat on this, and I'll explain why.
Sure.
Because we had dinner 6 months ago.
Yep.
And we invited Pat.
Yep.
And we shot a video. You and me, Pat, where you at?
And he wouldn't come. You're right.
And I said, Pat's not coming here.
Yeah, you're right.
We sent you the video.
Yeah.
There was no chance. But respectfully, we're going to invite him. I'm a little offended.
I didn't invite you.
No.
Bro, that would have been a video. If I would have had you there, then it would have been.
Here's what I would have done.
That would have been a video.
But here's what I would have
done.
Let me ask you a very simple question. The night we went out, we had dinner at on top of 11.
Yeah.
Did we not have an amazing night?
Yeah,
Did you get in any trouble whatsoever?
No,
brother?
I didn't get in any trouble.
Did we have? Wasn't it a way better night?
Of course.
So,
Are you saying you're a better host than who he was with?
I'm a way better host than Nick Fuentes at the club, dog.
But you know what?
Hear me out.
It's grown man things, yeah. You go out and you have a grown man time. You go out like grown men.
Hear me
Nick's funny.
Of course. You know how much hate I get from associating with Nick Fuentes because I interviewed the guy?
Yeah.
I got canceled off of TikTok for interviewing Nick Fuentes.
Wow.
In a challenging interview.
Wild.
I got canceled. TikTok. Thanks, China. But here's my point. We eat dinner at Giselle. We go down to 11.
Yeah.
You say to me, hey, bro, amazing night. I got to cut out early. I can't be at the club.
Yeah.
This is at the #1 club, not in Miami, in the world.
Correct.
11.
Correct.
You have the mindset to be like, let me get out of here. You go with guys who don't know anything about Miami.
Yeah.
Nothing about clubs. You go to some shithole club, Vendôme. What Pat is basically saying is, you're better than all this. And that's my opinion.
Hold on a second. I don't. Not shithole clubs.
So, final point.
I don't think I'm saying he's better than this.
No, I'm saying this.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
I'm saying that
I'm
Tate is...
I'm saying what's his...
Yes.
He belongs in a... And this is a conversation we had 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when, you know, that's between he and I. But I'm saying he belongs in a bigger room.
I fully agree with you.
What to do to
That
get
is
into
saying
those
you're
rooms,
better.
because
that's
impact can
Tate's
be
decision.
bigger. And by the way,
Yeah.
I invite, and I want you to finish your thought, because I think what you're saying is, if you come into Miami, call me, I'm going to be a better host. I know the good places. I know, and by the way,
I'm not even-
as much as I'm teasing you,
Probably
I'm
right.
agreeing
Probably
with
true.
you,
Yeah.
because you know the places in Miami. And the guys, you know, you're connected with everybody. All I'm saying is a very different message.
Yeah.
My message is, what's the next room to get into and solve for that? That's all it is. And by the way, you know what's crazy about it? Myron Gaines, I invited him over to the office 6 months ago. This is a meeting Myron and I had. It's no one's business. Myron knows what conversation I had with him. I sat him down and I said, Myron, you know, he came with his dog. It was so funny. Everyone's like, why is there a dog in the office? I said, I don't know. He walks with a dog. It's okay. Bring the dog. And I sat him and I said, you know how great of a communicator you are? You would make such a better point if you chose to do X, Y, Z. This was the conversation we had with Myron.
Interesting. I would love to be part of that conversation. Well, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. I'd love to hear what Pat had to say to him. That sounds, yeah, because I also feel like I need to hear exactly that. Like, I would love to have a mentor like Pat sit me down and tell me, yo, this is really what you need to do, so and so and so. Because I kind of don't really know. It's like it's funny because Myron is around the same age as me, which I didn't know. I really thought he was younger than me, but yeah, I think this age, mid-30s, it's this weird transition point because you're grown enough to know better, but you still don't quite know better. You know some things. There's definitely some, you can help yourself, you can stand on your own, you've accomplished things, you've gotten to, you can't look at your experience and your life as nothing. You can't say that you know nothing, but you also kind of know nothing, right? Like, you really, you sort of like, what do I do with all of this potential and this experience and this energy that I have? Like, where do I channel it? Where do I turn it? And it's like, I can turn it anywhere. You can do anything with it. What do I do? And maybe some of the things that you should do, you're not quite ready for. And so, like I was saying in the last video, that I think my favorite version of Myron is when he does Fed Reacts, because he's sort of in his element. He's really passionate about law enforcement, and you can tell. I mean, he says it all the time. You can tell that he wants to be in law enforcement. He didn't want to leave, and sometimes I kind of wish that he was still in it, just seeing him talk about it. And I think Fed Reacts is a great portal for him, and you get to see, and yeah, you can still talk about some of the things, you can still touch on some of the politics and some of the different things, but staying in your pocket, staying in your specific lane, because again, Myron knows law enforcement. He was in that world, so and that law enforcement is touching so many different sectors, so you're not going to run out of content, and it's really cool, and it's still personality type content and stuff like that. So I think, I mean, I don't know what Pat said to him, but I wonder if maybe that was one of the things, because that's what I see as a I mean, I guess I could say I'm a fan of Myron. I like him, yeah,
because I see him as such a talent. Same thing with Nick. I think you are the leader of this crew, and everyone knows it.
Yep.
You're the leader of all of these guys.
Look at Tate.
They all follow your lead. And by the way, I even saw a clip, I think the Nicholas guy, they all follow your lead, and everyone knows you are the leader of this crew, and everyone knows it.
Yep.
You're the
I don't know why I love this so much. It's like you can tell from his just I don't know. It just seems like he's kind of like he's almost like a petulant kid wanting to react and wanting to like, ugh. But he knows that they're saying something important to him, so he's like, okay, yeah. But he's like, yeah, I know that feeling.
leader of all of these guys.
By the way, I'm totally assuming, right? I mean, I really have no idea, but that's what it seems like.
All follow your lead. And by the way, I even saw a clip. I think the Nicholas guy was calling you out in a clip a few weeks ago. I can't believe
Nick
say,
who?
Sneako?
yeah, Sneako. He was calling you out in a
Oh yeah,
couple
Sneako
things.
does loads
Yeah.
of clips insulting me all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I mean, I completely understand what you're saying.
But
But
Sneako
that's
does-
okay. I just think they're supposed to do that, because if the leader at the top chooses to go here, these guys have to choose to lead, and those who don't follow his lead, they bash him. It's a very normal state of, how the process
Well,
goes.
Myron's an amazing friend of mine. He's never insulted me, to my knowledge. I think Nick Fuentes has said some things negative about me in the past, but now we get along. I think Clav said some negative things about me, but it's the first time I met him. I know Sneako's said endless negative things about me over and over again because it gets him clicks. I landed in Miami.
Come
it was the first
on,
time
Andrew, you're getting a little bit bitter
to
now.
meet Nick and Clav. The guys came along. If you would have told me, Andrew, if you go to the club, a international incident is going to take place, of course I wouldn't have gone. I sat there. I don't go to clubs. I don't like clubs. There was a long conversation about being Nick's first day in the club, and I truthfully, perhaps in my ignorance, thought that I could go to a club for 15 minutes without having a mess.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
But-
So here it is.
By the way, I don't have any critique of you other than it was a poor decision, because I agree with Pat. You are a leader, and you're leading these knuckleheads into stupid decisions. We're moving on from that. Here's
They
what
are
I do want to say.
knuckleheads.
24 hours later, this is so funny. I'm getting calls from all these guys. I come over to Eric's house. I'm having for dinner the leftovers from the night before from Prime 1. You hungry? Yeah, whatever. Your food. Typical Jews. They're like, you want a drink? I'm drinking Blue Label with Tristan. And I'm, guys, what's going on here? Like, you're calling me to get my feedback. I didn't call you guys, what up, bro? Can I eat your leftovers?
What's your point?
So here's
Yeah,
my
what
point.
is your
Pat.
point?
I want to say,
Thinking the same thing.
in 24 hours, the world changed. Not the world changed. The situation changed. I do want to say one thing, and I want to validate everything you're saying, because the whole thing was, who done it? Who played the song? In my opinion, it was Sneako. I'll let him speak for himself. I do think Myron is your friend, and you have no idea how much respect I have for you when you can throw him under the bus right now and you don't. Respect.
I'm not going to do I can't.
Sneako, I have zero idea why some guy that talks crap about you for a living, brother, you still would associate with. That's your call. You know who I love? You know who I love? And no matter what he does, I'll say that's my dog, Justin Waller.
Yeah, 100%.
The reason that I
that's what I
came,
was
Justin's the man.
the reason I came to the house, he was my first text. I said, Waller, what's going on? You know, he goes, Saz, let me explain what happened. Let's go. He goes, what kind of music you think I listen to? I go,
Watch the stream. We
I
were
go,
playing country
You're
music.
a country music dude.
Of course.
So he sends me the video. Tristan could be James Bond.
Yeah.
He's a little stressed out. He's like, bro, I want to come to Miami.
Tristan, that could be. He is.
Yeah.
He is James Bond.
He's like, I don't want this in my life. I know you know people. Like, respectfully, like, hook a brother up. I go, I got you. I'm on the phone with the mayor of Miami Beach. What do I tell you? Hey, sir, I'll call you right back. 1 minute.
Yeah.
You're putting Dylan to bed. I tell the mayor, hey, I got to talk to Pat because he actually pays my bills. You don't.
Yeah.
You collect my taxes
Yeah,
on me.
yeah.
Like,
You robbed me.
Yeah, you robbed me. He pays me. So, respectfully, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
respect, whatever. He's saying, dude, I don't know this song.
Yeah.
I'm a country guy. And I see you walk out of the van, and I'm like, all right, well,
I think that checks out. Justin didn't look the least bit interested in the song, for real.
the song was on for 10 seconds. Sneako, I guess, is so broke that he's not even paying for the ad-free thing. They're playing commercials.
I said the same thing.
You know what?
But here's what he said, and I want to give you a
Sure.
chance. He did validate everything you're saying. The reason you went is because Nick Fuentes, virgin, never been to a club, a virgin and a literal club virgin. You wanted to see him be basically like dance monkey in the club, so to speak. And
So Nick Fuentes has never been to a club in his entire life, and the first time he goes to a club, they play that song, and it becomes a huge thing. Wow, this is what I'm telling you. Nick is the new Andrew Tate. He's the new principal.
And I actually understand that. But when you show up to a club with the Nazi Avengers, Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, Sneako, you're gonna get looped into this, and whose head's gonna roll first?
Well,
Not some clav kid nobody's heard of. Andrew Tate.
Stop beating up on Andrew now. It's fine. Like
you're the leader.
He gets the point now.
I understand.
I understand. Not to cut you off, and I know you guys said like he's not choosing to be.
This is like a tribunal. This is like a what do you call it? An inquiry or whatever. A friggin' commission of inquiry or whatever. It's
Their leader. You are a leader, and they are like looking up to you. So it's not like
think a
you're
20-year-old
choosing to be like, yo, I'm in charge of you guys.
This kid shouldn't be in the club.
I think Nick is the new leader.
He's 20. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
He's meeting you for the first time. You're his idol.
I understand the point you're making, and you know what?
Yeah.
Sneako hasn't.
I think Nick is the new leader. I think Nick is the new torchbearer of this group. Andrew's old hat. Big respect to Andrew. I love Andrew, but I think Nick is the new orange.
Insulted me endless times, especially across the last 4 years. I haven't seen him in years and years and years. But maybe it's the man code in me. He's insulted me so many times, and I could sit here and throw him under the bus, but it's just not who I am as a person. I want to meet Nick and Clav. It's Clav and Nick who reached out to me. You're in America. We've never met before. Come through. We're with Sneako. Is that okay? My reply was, Sneako always has some crybaby issue with me. If he's not going to cry his eyes out, he can come. And he came along, and he made a fucking mess. And I could sit here and blame it all on him. But that's truthfully not. I don't know. That just feels wrong to me.
I think you love those guys actually. I think you love Sneako and Myron and those guys actually.
I'm not going to sit here and say who else it was. I'm just going to say I didn't do it. I'm just going to say that I didn't play the song. I don't find the song funny. I didn't think it was appropriate to do. It's someone else's decision. We can drag him up here and we can ask him why he did it. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps when they said Nick's never been to a club before, I should have thought, Nick's never been to a club before. It's the first time I've ever met him. It might be a funny story. I haven't been in America in a year. You know what? I'm bored. I don't even like clubs, but I'm in Miami. Maybe I should go for 15 minutes. Perhaps that was the wrong decision. Perhaps it was. Perhaps I should have known better.
And also, Andrew, you're saying you didn't play the song, so maybe we should drag Sneako up here to have him answer. Nobody cares what Sneako thinks. Sneako doesn't care what Sneako thinks. We care what you think. So your failure to recognize that is a little bit disappointing here.
But I went, and here we are.
Did Nick at least have a good time?
He said he didn't hate it, which I guess.
And I did see somebody. I did see somebody go, "Hey, I forgot who it was, Nicholas or one of those guys. Like, hey, I got some girls," and he's like, "No, I'm good. I don't want the girls."
He said
I don't like girls. He's definitely not gay.
No.
He said he didn't hate it. I did hate it. Because clubs suck.
I can
But
tell.
it was Nick's first club night. I'm in Miami. I was like, oh, fuck it.
That club sucks.
Okay, yeah.
Wasn't the club I took you to the dopest thing?
Well, that's true.
Shout out to 11.
That's true.
Shout out to Liv.
And you know what? I guess, I mean, if I were the kind of person to throw people under the bus, if I was that guy, then it would be for me to sit here and say people who understand the Miami scene better must understand the kind of reaction that would get. I don't live here. I could take you guys to clubs in Romania, and there's songs we could play that would get us stabbed outside. Yeah. You wouldn't even understand the fucking words.
Vinny and I just go to the club.
But so I'm in Romania. It's my territory. If I put on a song that's going to get you guys literally in trouble and put you on the news, then I guess that's on me. Yeah. I obviously speak English. I know what the song says. I know what the song means, of course. But I guess people who live here understand how sensitive the Miami scene is more than I do. I don't live here.
But also, let's talk about, for a second, Kanye's Ye. Let's talk about Ye's genius here. You could say whatever you want about Ye, right? If he could write a song, Ye is not even anywhere. He's not even in the room. I don't even know where he is. Isn't he living in fucking Indonesia or some weird place, right? I'm not trying to say Indonesia is weird. I'm just saying I don't know where Ye is right now. He's not even here, and his song is causing this ripple effect and this reaction, you know. Listen, you cannot deny the genius and effectiveness of Kanye as an artist. You can't. I mean, just look at this.
You know, I'm just here. It's my second day in Miami. It's a first club night with Nick, who's one of the most influential and most well-known people on the planet, whether anyone likes it or not. And I went. So perhaps that was a bad people. It's a first club night with Nick, who's one of the most influential and most well-known people on the planet, whether anyone likes it or not. And I
interesting. Yeah, it sounds like you're admitting to yourself. I think this is the same thing I've been saying. Nick is the new Andrew.
went. So perhaps that was a bad decision. Perhaps it was a bad decision. I'm going to sit here and say, obviously, it was not the best decision in the world. But here it is. It's done. If anybody in the Jewish community genuinely believes I want to run around and put them in a fucking concentration camp and not understand that I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time while someone played a stupid song, then unfortunately, I mean, I'm happy to sit down and talk to anybody.
By the way, and I'm not the person
What does Kanye think about you calling his song stupid?
to speak for the Jewish community. 100%, I'm agreeing with Tate on this. So for any Jew that's like, oh, he's not. Look at us. But I want to ask Pat what he would do, because I totally respect the whole Myron thing. I text Myron. I go, dude, you're going viral. He goes, this is at 5 PM.
Yeah.
What I do, bro? I just woke up. I didn't respond. Good luck. I don't communicate with Sneako. I dap him up if I see him in an Aiden Ross event or whatever. Nick Fuentes.
Well, Sneako will be insulting me again by next week. That's what Sneako does. He just back and forth.
But that's my question to Pat. And he'll probably validate and agree with me why you wouldn't want to throw a genuine friend under the bus. But Sneako's not your friend, bro.
No, he's not my friend.
What would you do if in this situation where you have someone, because in my opinion, those are the two biggest culprits, Sneako and Myron. This and playing the song, and everyone else is just around. What would you do with Myron if you're him? And what would you do with Sneako, who's clearly not his friend?
I think he knows. I've already shared but here's the thing with Tate.
I love how Pat is like, I'm not going to answer that. I think that's a smart move.
Tate is a 39-year-old grown man with a lot of life experiences. And the codes, certain codes I have with men and women that I talk about, hey, if this is your girl, here's what you do, you know, here's how we do things when we're going out to family, respect. If his sister, let's just say, he says, hey, Pat, you know, my sister's going to come hang out. I'm treating his sister like my sister. Nobody touches her. I'm protecting her.
Yep.
Nobody can do it. There's certain things that I follow. I think, look, Adam, you're 46 years old. And you're
45.
Okay, whatever.
Wow.
Let's not do this. Because I'll round down to 44.
All right, so let's just say you're in your mid-40s, right?
Fair.
Okay, all right. You're in mid-40s, 46. Let's just say you're in your mid-40s. Okay.
But next thing you know, it'll be 65.
Yeah, you will. It's going to happen real quick. But
then he just turned 60.
But even I tell you, I'm like, look, think about, you know, who are the men you respect the most? Mm-hmm. That's how this question goes.
Yeah.
Make a list of which men you respect the most. Okay, who's on that list? Let's just say you say Trump. Okay, great. Let's say you say, you know, Dana, or maybe you say, I don't know what names you say. Everybody says different names that they say, right? Okay, great. What is the pattern? What is their life? I know you just talked, but you haven't drank for 4 years.
Correct.
No alcohol.
It's interesting because Tate's father is not in his life anymore. So Pat's making I mean, it's a sensitive but I think necessary point that even though Tate is this huge figure and he's the top of the world as it comes to like celebrity and influence and internet fame and right wing whatever, he still needs that you know, elder mentor to kind of look up to and guide him into the next phase. He's 39. He's on that cusp. He's now entering this new decade of his life. That's some real facts. Damn. I need to find me one of those too.
For 4 years.
I wasn't drunk that night. Didn't have a drop.
Yeah, that's amazing to say you haven't drank for 4 years, right?
Even the night we went out, you had 0 drinks.
Don't drink.
I remember.
I think the part is modeling. Who do you want to model? What's the next phase of life? And you make the choice and you move on. I've never met, you know, Nicholas guy. I've never met him. Good-looking guy, well-spoken, you know, intensity. I don't know his background. I don't know what happened with his family. I don't know why he is the way he is. But it pays today to be loud. There's an economy for being loud. But I want to get away from this.
Can I answer your one question?
Which
You
one?
asked who I respect. There's only one name, and that's you. Because you know the conversations that we've had.
Oh my God, could somebody please get Adam a freaking wet wipe for his nose? Just, you need to get all of that off of your nose, bro. Come on, Adam. What are you, that's so cringe. I mean, fair enough if what he's saying is true. It's probably genuine, but come on, time and place.
Behind closed doors, I'm tearing up here. If I never met you, what would I be doing now? I'd still be out in the club with Adrian. You know this conversation, right? How much did you change this guy's life? We just joked the first time that he came out in Miami. This kid was a maniac.
Now I'm 3 years sober.
Maniac.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I told him
fair
I
enough,
can't
well said. Yeah,
bring him
it's
out in the
kind of
club
brown
again in
nosy,
Miami,
but,
trying to
yeah.
fight my best friend.
Amazing. And that's beautiful. and that's past
hear me
legacy.
out.
Yeah.
But hear me out. We're so grateful that we're here.
Of course.
There's nobody a person on my list. This conversation, we had in the car on the way to Dylan's baseball game. What's the word
And he's really crying.
in the book to
I feel bad for making fun of him now. He's really crying.
cut off?
Decide is to
To
cut off.
decide.
In,
You know, I made a decision recently. You know this.
Latin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know how easy it is for me to be a 50-year-old guy in the club in Miami? A 60, I could do that like that. Free drinks, bottles, 11, this. But I don't want to be that guy. I want to have kids, and I know how you feel about kids.
Yep.
And I know how Tristan feels about kids.
Yep.
We probably spent 2 hours talking about kids.
Yeah.
Justin Waller, you know this.
Yeah.
So I look at him and I say, damn,
Yeah.
what do I want to do? I'm 45, Pat, but I'm going to be 65. Do I want to have kids or do I want to have family or not?
Yeah.
So to me, this comes down to one thing. Dude, whether you like it or not, homie, you're a leader and a boss for a generation of kids. Kids.
I understand.
This kid Clav, not that I want to give him
Braden.
whatever, he's a 20-year-old kid.
Yes.
He's
a
mogging,
kid. He's a child.
whatever this is.
Smashing his face,
Here's a
taking
kid who's
steroids,
20
doing
years
drugs
old.
at 20.
But if a 20-year-old girl did this, Kylie Jenner, lip injections, titties, we know what's going on with women. Because I'm so grateful because of you. Because of you, I know this kid. I say, dudes are doing this. Dudes are getting fake titties now.
It's a little
basically,
weird.
Yep.
cutting their face, flogging,
weird.
mogging.
It's actually surprised. To be honest, I was a little bit surprised that Andrew and Clav. Well, he said he's just getting to know him and stuff. So to me, clavicular is the opposite of anything of what Andrew Tate has always talked about. Like, which is do the hard work, go out there, work on your body, don't take shortcuts, go through the thing, you know. And clavicular is this kind of like, you know, he's more about just get all the surgeries, get all these things and whatever, which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it ends up in the same place because the whole idea is look as best as you can, like achieve the highest form of whatever. But I wouldn't imagine that Andrew would endorse clavicular's way of doing it, which I'm not saying that he does, but it is kind of like a mismatch to see the two of them in the same space like that. Yeah, maybe.
The reason I'm 10 minutes late today is because I was mogging. I wanted to look good for you on camera. Wanted to out alpha the top G.
I see the bruise.
I see the bruises.
See,
Very
guys, feel
swollen.
this.
I see it. I feel it.
But the point is, thank God that I have him in my ear
Yeah.
and not Moggy McGee out here.
Yeah.
And that's
listen,
what, that's, if there's one thing I could say, is I have so much respect for you, and I think so many people do,
Yeah.
that you should be in that room with a Trump and a Dana White. Instead, you're in a club with Moggy McGee, Nick Fuentes, and Sneako in a shitty club in Miami.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to make excuses for my actions. I was here in Miami. I wanted to meet Nick. Nick was with Clav. They asked if Sneako could come. I said, Sneako insults me all the time. Sneako came here. Even though all he does is insult me, I'm still not going to throw him under the bus. Myron's an amazing friend of mine. I didn't want to go to the club. I said, I don't want to go. I said, this is bullshit. They said it's Nick's first ever time. And I truthfully believed I could get in and out of this dump in 15 minutes without an international incident.
You can't.
And I would,
Tate,
of course not.
You know this
I've
now.
learned. I've learned.
But how did you
Yeah,
not
so
know that
y'all leave-
already?
So y'all leave him alone? No. Jesus Christ. How much more do you guys need to pile on? I think this is enough now.
Sorry about that.
I've learned. So I've learned my lesson. You know, I'm not a perfect person. Hindsight is 20/20. I should not have gone to the club. I should have stuck to what I was saying for the first 10 minutes. I don't want to go. But when perhaps even maybe, and I'm sure he's going to say no chance, perhaps even maybe, if they were to say this is Nick Fuentes' first ever time in a nightclub ever in his life, perhaps other people who don't normally go to clubs would have thought, you know what, for 5 minutes, let me go. Perhaps.
I just have one last question on this topic.
yeah.
Did Nick at least lose his virginity that night?
I have no idea. But Nick and Myron and Sneako and Clav, they can all come here and defend themselves. And even though Sneako's insulted me a trillion times,
They don't need to defend themselves because everybody was. You're the guy. No, you are the defense of the whole group, which is unfair, but not really.
even though he put the song on, I just don't think it's prudent for me to sit up here and throw him under the bus. Even though, you know, maybe I should. Maybe most people in my position would say, Sneako's insulted me a whole bunch of times. He's going to insult me again next week. That's all he ever does is flip-flop. I didn't even want him there. He got invited by the other guys. He put the song on. He got me in trouble. Perhaps I should sit here and just blame some other dude. But what I'm actually just going to do is tell my side of the story. My side of the story is that I wanted to speak to Nick. I wanted to speak to Nick.
Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. You deserve better.
Let's move on. Is there
Yeah. So this was a roast. This was a real and not like a celebrity roast. This was they held him to the fire, these guys. Vinny didn't say much. This was really Pat and Adam with, I think, they made really good points. They're right. They're correct. And I hope Andrew realizes that this is a turning point. I think Andrew's really smart. I like Andrew a lot. I think he's really smart. I think he is going to see this as a turning point for him, and he's going to realize like I think what we're going to see from Andrew is more intentionality in his company keeping, or I hope that's what we see, because frankly, this is what I think. This is I think, like I said, this is what got him in trouble in the first place, which was he was not very intentional about the company that he keeps. Even, you know, as big and rich, and it's one of those things that when people say money can bring more problems, because when you are so rich and famous and powerful and attractive and you can fight and you can do all, you can have all of these women and everybody can, everybody's attracted to you and everybody wants to be around you, and everything you do is a huge affair. It's very easy to play into that, and it's very easy. And listen, it's well deserved. You worked hard. You did what you had to do. You made good business decisions. You sacrificed, so you deserve that kind of glory. But the glory is like a light that can also blind you as well. And I think this is one of those moments where you realize sometimes just by having so much power to do anything and so much influence, it ends up sort of splashing back on you, and you sort of realize, okay, whoa, this is a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of effect that I'm having in the world. I need to be a lot more intentional, a lot more careful and pull back. And I think that's what Pat's trying to say. And I think Pat came to that realization at the right point in his life, where, and it probably happened before social media became what it is now. So that's a good thing, where Pat was able to kind of realize, hey, I'm a top player, I'm an ace guy. I can do anything I want. I could have all the women, I could have all the drugs, I could have all the parties, I could have the clubs, I could go anywhere, I could do all these things. But actually those things are probably going to get me into more trouble. So what I should do is actually play the opposite and be very, very, very intentional, focus on the things that matter the most, the things that move the needle the most, and not just, like Andrew says, have shock value for the sake of shock value. So I think that's what we're gonna see from Andrew. I hope so. But yeah, cool. I mean, this was really good to watch, actually, because I look at these things and I think they kind of piled on pretty heavy on Andrew. And I don't know if they're gonna do any more, but I'm finished watching now. But maybe he needs to hear this, I think many men around the world need to hear this too. I felt like I needed to hear this too, which is, I mean, I came to the understanding that, like, I mean, that proverb found me a few years ago, just walk with the wise and become wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. And it really jolted me awake, and I was like, whoa, damn, I've been the companion of some real fools, and hell yeah, I've suffered some harm for sure. And it just got me like, god damn. And it sort of made me become a lot more intentional, a lot more discerning about who I spend my time with, and it's not a matter of someone being my friend or not being my friend. Yeah, I can love you, you can be my friend, but I recognize something in you that is wayward and that I can't affect it. I can't really fix it necessarily directly. The only thing I can do is make wiser decisions for myself and for how I spend my time and where I place myself as I move through time, and hopefully you sort of you come along as well. But if not, I'm gonna I wish you the best, and yeah, I'll be happy to support you in anything and that kind of thing. But I can't let you, I can't hitch myself to you anymore in this way. So yeah, but I'm telling you, man, Andrew is lucky to have, I think lucky to have Pat. I think Andrew should probably call Pat and talk to him a lot more often. I kind of realized, like, hey, I sort of couldn't benefit from some older guy. And I think there's not many people in the world who can actually counsel Andrew Tate, like who can really say anything to him. I think Pat is probably one of the few people who can, and I think Andrew should utilize that more. So that's my that's my diagnosis and prognosis for this. But yeah, I like Andrew, I like Myron. I hope Myron gets some of that as well. I think Myron is in the same space where he kind of needs that. I need that myself. I wish I had a Pat in my life that I could just say, listen, I don't want to make any more decisions from my own life. Well, I want to yield some of my agency, and I just want to just tell me what it is that I need to know. What are you seeing that I can't see? And let me work. Give me a system to work with for a little bit. I've exhausted my own system. My own system has taken me far, but I need some adjustments to my system. Lend me some of your system for a bit. Let me put mine down and give me some of yours. And I feel the need for that in my own life too. So, and it's this age. It's this 35 to 39 kind of window that we're in. So yeah. Anyway, let me know if you're watching, if you're in that window too, and if you recognize any of this as well. If you recognize being in this place and you took anything away from Pat and Adam that I might have missed. But yeah, thank you for watching, and bless up.